Okay, so let's go ahead and look at your review here. I'm going to get you started on it, then I'm going to let you work on some of them. So, number 1, it says, describe the effect on the area of the circle if the radius is doubled. Okay, so remember this. We talked about this on Monday, but you got to remember we're talking about area here. All right, it says the radius is doubled. So what happens? What do you do when you double something? Multiply by 2. So that means in this problem that the scale factor is 2. So we talked about this on Monday. Scale factor is 2. We double it. What's going to happen to the area? Okay, good. So remember when we talk about the area changes not by the scale factor, but by the scale factor squared. Okay? So 2 squared is 4. So the area of the new circle would be 4 times bigger than the area of the original one. So like on number 2, it says, describe the effect on the area of a circle if the radius is quadrupled. All right, so again, we're talking about area. What do you do when you quadruple something? Multiply by 4. So if the radius is quadrupled, what's going to happen to the area? Okay, so again, the area changes by the square of the scale factor, which means it would be 16 times the original. Okay. So let's go ahead and drop down to number 8 down here. So on all these it says find the area of the following. So on this one, this is a regular hexagon, so we're just going to use the regular polygon formula. Area equals the apothem times the perimeter divided by 2. So how long is the apothem of this polygon, hexagon?
6.92.
Okay, if you get the decimal of that, or if you just want to leave it as a like that, the apothem is 4 square roots of 3 times, okay, times the perimeter. How long is the perimeter? Each side is 8. It's going to be 8 times 6 is going to be 48. Divided by 2. So just type that in your calculator. 4 square roots of 3 times 48 divided by 2.
156.277.
Yeah, we'll say 166.28. Is that right? Okay, square units. Okay, next one. Number 9, what is this? It's a kite. Diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. So this one's easy. It's just 8 times 14 divided by 2. Which should be 56 square meters. Okay, and this one for the circle. How do we find the area of a circle? Pi squared. This says leave it in terms of pi. We're going to go ahead and just get the decimal on it. So how long is the radius of this circle? 4 if the diameter is 8. So I'm going to do pi times 4 squared. Type that in your calculator. What does that give you? Is it round to 50.27? Okay, square inches. Okay, that one, it's parallelogram, find the area of that one. That one's pretty easy. On number 13, don't worry about finding the apothem, radius, or area. Just find the perimeter, I guess, on that one. Okay, on number 12, you're going to be finding the area of the unshaded part. Number 14, finding the area of that trapezoid. Okay, going back over here to number 3. Okay, if the dimensions of the sides of a square with sides 4 feet or double, what's the area of the new square?
64 feet squared.
Okay, good. So if it's 4 and 4, and if you double that, it's going to be 8 and 8, which 8 times 8 would be 64. So 64 square feet. Okay, if the dimensions of a side of a square with sides 3 feet are tripled, what's the area of the new one? Okay, good. So if it's 3 and 3, if you triple that, it would be 9 and 9. 9 times 9 would be 81 square feet. Okay, describe the area, or describe the effect on the area of a circle if the diameter is increased by a factor of 4. So that means the scale factor is 4, obviously. So what happens to the area? I mean, it's the exact same question as number 2, really. It'd be 16 times the original. Okay. Next one says, find the scale factor. So Leon's building his grandson a new sandbox. The old sandbox was 4x6. He wants the dimensions of the new sandbox to be twice as big. What's the scale factor?
2.
Yep. Twice is the key word there. It's just 2. Okay, if the diameter is doubled, describe the effect on the circumference and area. So if you double it, that means the scale factor is 2. Just 2 times. So what happens to the circumference? The circumference would be 2 times the original circumference, but the area would be 4 times the original area. Circumference is basically, in this context, it's the same thing as perimeter. It acts the same way as perimeter. Okay, we already did those 3. All right, number 11. So how do we find the area of a parallelogram? Base times height. What's the base and height? 20 and 15.2. So you're going to do 20 times 15.2. What does that give you? 304 square meters. Okay, on number 12, we want to find the area of the unshaded part. So in general, what are we going to do to find the area of the unshaded? Find the area of the whole thing, and the area of the shaded parts, and subtract it. So how are we going to find the area of this whole thing? Okay, so 50 times 30 is just a rectangle, length times width, so 50 times 30 is what? Okay, it's 1,500. Now, how am I going to find the area of this thing? It's 10 times 10. You have these little congruent marks, so just 10 times 10. So the area of that thing is 100. How are we going to find the area of this? Whoops. Okay, is a good triangle, so base times height divided by 2, 20 times 30 divided by 2 is 300. So this is the area of the whole thing. This is the area of the 2 shaded pieces. What am I going to do here? Just subtract them off, and what does that leave? 1,100 square feet. Okay. On this one, the perimeter, what would the perimeter of this be? Because 216. Okay, on this trapezoid, it's base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2, which is just going to be 2.6 square inches. Okay, flip it over on the back. So on number 15, we want to find the area of that entire shape. So how are we going to find the area of that whole thing? We're going to cut it up, split it up into pieces that we know. So we could do it a bunch of ways. I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to cut it like that for this piece. So this is a rectangle. How do we find the area of a rectangle? Length times width. So 18 times 6. What does that give you for the area of the rectangle? There's 108. So that's just for the rectangular piece. Now let's think about this piece right here in the middle. I know from here to here is 8, okay, because it tells me right there. How far is it going to be from there to right here?
8.
Okay, how do you know it's 8? Well, how do you know it's a square?
Because it's 18 on the same, 18 minus 10.
Okay, good. So this whole side over here is 18. This side is 10. And so that means this has to be 8 because 10 plus additional 8 gets you to that total of 18. So this has to be 8. So what's the area of this square piece in the middle right here? 8 squared, or 8 times 8 length times width. So the area of that's going to be 64. Now the only thing we have left is that little triangular piece, and I already know that this is 8 from here to here because I knew. Now how far is it going to be from here to here?
8, 6, 4.
Heard 8, 6, and 4. All right. So all the way from here to here is 20. This is 6. This is 8. So what is 6 plus 8?
14.
14. And then how much more am I going to have to go to get all the way to 20?
6.
Got to be 6 more. So we're going to do 8 times 6 divided by 2. For a triangle, base times height divided by 2 is 24. So now to find the area, we're going to add all 3 of these up. So 108 plus 64 plus 24. What does that give you? 196 square centimeters. Okay, number 16. This goes back to stuff that we did right before Christmas. So on our 45, 45, 90 rules, going from the hypotenuse back to the leg, what do? Divide by the square root of 2, which means both of these are just 10. And so 10 and 10 is my base and height. So just base times height divided by 2. It'll be 50 square units. Okay, should be good there. All right, let's look at number 20. If the area of a triangle is 256 square inches and the height is 16, find the base. Okay, so the base that we're looking for times the height divided by 2 equals the area. On this one, I know the area, and it's the base that I'm looking for. So base times height divided by 2 equals the area. The base is what I don't know. The height is 16 divided by 2 equals the area of 256. I'm going to let you work that one out. Okay, number 22. How are you going to, just in general, how are you going to find the area of the shaded region? Okay, you're going to pi r squared to find the area of the circle. Then what are you going to do? Find the area of the rectangle and then do what? Subtract them. Okay? All right. On number, whatever, this 2a down here. This is what we worked on Monday. So remember, if you take the old area, which is 50 in this case, and what's the scale factor? 6 over x, going from here to here. So if you take the old area times the scale factor squared, that gives you the new area. So you just need to work that equation out to find the value of x. I'll let you work that one out. Okay, on number 24, to find the area of the sector, formula is pi r squared times m over 360. Okay, we already did that one. We did that one. Should be good there. All right, on this one, actually, we've already done one like that. We're good there. So let's go ahead and look at number 20 here real quick. So if we multiply both sides by 2, that cancels that out. That gives us x times 16 equals 512 divided by 16. And what does that give you? 32 inches. Okay, number 22. So we need to find the area of the circle. So pi r squared. So what's the radius of the circle?
2.5.
2.5. So what does pi times 2.5 squared give you?
19.6.
Is it like 19.64, something like that?
Minus
So-
12.
Okay, so that's there the whole thing. Now we need to find the area of that triangle. Rectangle. How are we going to find the area of the rectangle?
3
3 times
times 4.
4, which is 12. So I'm going to subtract that off. That's going to be 7.64 square inches. Okay, on this one, when you work this out, you should get x equals 5. All right, on this one, you do 13.5 times the scale factor, which the scale factor would be 8 over 6. So 13.5 times 8 over 6 squared. And that should give you 24 square feet. Okay, on this one, pi times 25 squared times 100 over 360. What does that give you? Is 545. Yeah. 0.42 square feet. Okay, on the last page. All right, number 27 says find the height of a trapezoid that has base lengths of 7 and 13, and the area is 80. Okay, so base 1 plus base 2 times the unknown height divided by 2 equals the area. And I'm going to let you work that one out, find the value of x on that one. Okay, then on these last two right here, you're actually going to measure that and find the area. So on the first one there, you're measuring, find the area of that trapezoid. The second one, you're measuring, find the area of the shaded region. And on your test on Friday, you will actually have 2 problems on the test where you are measuring with the ruler. It's still multiple choice on there, but you will actually be measuring 2 questions on your test on Friday. All right, that should get you a pretty good start. I'm going to let you go ahead and get grouped up. Start working through here. All right, let's go ahead and look at these last two. Let's measure these real quick. All right, so on this one you get right at 7. This one up here is right at 5.5. My height is right at 2.8. So we can go 7 plus 5.5 times 2.8 divided by 2. And that should give you about 17.5 square centimeters. Okay, on this one, it's about 4.3, about 4.9, about 2.8, and about 2. So you're going to do 4.3 times 4.9 to find the area of the whole thing, and then you need to subtract off the area of the triangle, which is going to be 2 times 2.8 divided by 2. And it's going to give you about 18.27 square centimeters. Okay, and then one more, this one up here we didn't finish. So if you work this one out, multiply both sides by 2, you get 7 plus 13x equals 160. Add those two up, 20 equals 160, divide by 20, and that should equal 8 on that one.